Get ready for a culinary adventure, because today we're diving deep into Ghanaian street food.
Ghana, West Africa, vibrant culture and diverse landscapes, plus an amazing food scene.
And we've got a great source for this deep dive.
The best ever food review show on YouTube.
This one takes us to Accra, Ghana's capital city.
To find the most affordable and delicious street food.
The cheapest street food, and I'm always down for a good deal, especially when it involves delicious food.
Oh, you're gonna love this.
The source also mentions illegal turkey tails.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Well, in Ghana, turkey tails are considered illegal contraband.
What?
Yeah, in 1999, they banned poultry products with over 15% fat.
Okay.
And turkey tails have about 45% fat.
Oh, wow. That's wild.
Yeah.
So, but the video shows a woman openly selling them in Makola market.
Right?
It's this huge, bustling hub where you can find pretty much anything and everything.
Anything and everything.
But is the ban not enforced?
It seems that way, and this actually gives vendors like the one in the video an advantage. She even mentions that it limits competition, making her the go-to person for turkey tails.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah, it's a reminder that food regulations can have unintended consequences,
Yeah.
sometimes shaping the economy.
Yeah, like creating a whole underground turkey tail market or a don't ask, don't tell situation.
Right.
So what did the host think of them?
He said it tasted like greasy fried chicken, mostly fat and crispy skin.
Okay, like a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, and that speaks to the theme of affordability we see in the video.
Yeah.
Street food in Ghana seems incredibly budget-friendly.
Right, because Makola Market is all about those wholesale prices.
Exactly.
But okay, before we get too lost in the world of illicit turkey tails, let's get a broader sense of Ghanaian food in general.
Okay.
So the host of the video had a local guide,
Yes.
Chi, who's a social media personality and restaurant owner.
She seems great.
What insights did she share?
She talked about how diverse Ghanaian cuisine is, which makes sense. The country has 16 different regions and various ethnicities, each contributing its own unique flavors and traditions.
16 regions. Wow, that's a lot of culinary ground to cover.
It is.
So what are some of the defining characteristics of Ghanaian food?
Carbs are a major staple, like 60% of the diet.
Okay, I'm listening.
Beans, cassava, plantains, yams, cornflour rice.
Okay, you had me. Carbs are a major staple.
All the good stuff.
Now I'm really getting hungry.
Me too.
What about spices? Any signature flavors?
Ginger, garlic, and onion.
The Holy Trinity.
Pretty much, she said, we wouldn't have a super stew in Ghana where ginger, garlic, or onion is missing. No way.
I love her energy.
She was great.
So Ghana also has a long coastline, so I'm guessing seafood plays a big role too.
You bet. Fish is a primary source of protein, along with chicken, beef, and even snails.
Snails.
Yeah.
We might have to save that for another deep dive.
Another time.
Okay, agreed. So the video also showcased a dish called tuozafi, or TZ.
Oh, yeah.
And it seems like an incredibly unique culinary adventure.
It is. It's all about getting your hands dirty, no cutlery involved.
Okay.
It has three main components. The TZ itself is this velvety, smooth blend of corn flour and cassava flour.
Kind of like ugali, another African maize-based porridge.
Exactly, but think silkier, smoother.
Okay.
Then you have ayo, the sauce. Bright green sauce, almost shimmering and slightly gelatinous.
Okay.
Made from ayo leaves, also known as jute leaves. And it's cooked with onions, salt fish powder, and dawa dawa, which is fermented locust bean.
Fermented locust bean. Now that's an ingredient you don't hear about every day.
Nope.
What's the final piece of this puzzle?
The protein. So in this case, it was a stew made with tomato paste onions, peppers, garlic, ginger, salt, and beef organs.
Beef organs. Where'd that?
Well, the host mentioned the towel, which is cow stomach.
The towel.
Apparently, it really does have a towel-like texture.
Oh, wow. So every part of the cow is utilized.
It is.
Did all these elements come together to create culinary magic?
The host was blown away. He raved about the deep flavor, the spice, even some charred notes from the habanero peppers, and there's a savory smokiness from the dry fish powder.
Wow.
That for only $1.50.
$1.50.
Yeah.
Talk about a flavor-packed bargain.
I know, right?
What's next on our Ghanaian street food adventure?
Let's move on to something a little more familiar, at least on the surface, chum. A Ghanaian twist on the egg sandwich.
An egg sandwich. How unique can it really be?
This is not your average egg and cheese. This starts with an omelet loaded with fresh vegetables and chilies, but the real difference is the bread.
The bread. What about it?
It's pounded flat before being filled.
Okay.
And the host joked that the vendor was using what looks like a paper towel dispenser to do it.
That's improvisation.
It is?
What was the host's reaction to this charm?
He compared it to kebabs perfect after a night out. He was impressed by the texture and elasticity of the bread. It was surprisingly chewy and substantial.
So simple ingredients elevated through unique techniques and bold flavors.
Yeah.
I'm ready for more. Where to next?
As the sun sets in Accra, the street food scene comes alive.
Okay.
The host said downtown is the place to be if you're looking for a diverse culinary experience.
So we're transitioning from daytime market fare to nighttime street food delights.
Absolutely. And there's something for everyone. Grilled meats fried treats even a fusion dish of pasta, beans, and rice.
Pasta, beans, and rice.
Okay.
We have to talk about tomako roasted pork.
Yes.
You won't find that on every street corner in Accra.
You won't. Ghana has a large Muslim population, about 20%, and pork isn't part of a halal diet.
Okay, so it's less prevalent.
Right.
Tell me about this tomato. What makes it so special?
It's marinated with ginger, garlic, onion, chili peppers, cloves, and cinnamon,
Wow.
then smoked in a clay oven and fried to order, and then they top it with a dry spice blend.
Okay.
The vendor, Joyce Odamic, often has a whole pig head displayed at her stall.
I love that. No need for fancy signage when you have a pig head.
Exactly.
So how did it taste?
Greasy, crispy, heavy, with a spice profile reminiscent of garam masala.
Sounds like the ultimate indulgence.
It does.
Makes sense given all those carb-heavy beers mentioned earlier.
Yeah, definitely need some protein to balance that out.
Okay, we've covered a lot, but there's still one more dish, right?
One more.
What's our grand finale?
We're heading to a place called the Anointed Lady Restaurant
Okay.
for a dish called shinkafa.
Shinkafa.
But before we even get into the food, there's something fascinating about this restaurant.
Oh, I love a good backstory.
This restaurant caters to every major life event: parties, weddings, engagements, and funerals.
Wow, what a range.
I know. The host even joked about whether people are hungrier at weddings or funerals.
That's hilarious.
It is.
Okay, so what about the shinkafa? What's on the plate?
Fluffy steamed rice with the option to add peas and pasta.
Okay.
Then they top it with a rich beef stew, which includes cow skin,
Okay.
and then a flavorful spicy sauce,
Interesting.
all served on a leaf platter.
A leaf platter. That's cool.
It is?
Hold on, peas and pasta in the rice?
Oh,
Are we seeing a trend here?
maybe Ghanaians have a secret love affair with spaghetti.
Right. The host even said, never doubt Africans' ability to put spaghetti into random stuff.
I love that.
So back to the shinkafa. What did he think?
He described a complex flavor profile: savory, salty, with a hint of heat, and even a touch of black licorice.
Black licorice. Where did that come from?
He attributed it to the long cooking time of the stew, which allows the flavors to meld and deepen.
Interesting.
He also raved about the pork skin melt-in-your-mouth tender, and he was curious about how they name beef cuts in Ghana compared to the U.S.
It seems even the most familiar ingredients can surprise you in a different culinary context.
It really can.
Black licorice in a savory stew. That's definitely not something you hear about every day.
It's amazing how those long cooking times can change the flavor.
Yeah, and speaking of unexpected flavors, I keep thinking about that whole illegal turkey tail situation.
Right?
I mean, they're openly sold at Makola Market,
I know, it's crazy.
despite the ban. It's like a culinary taboo being broken.
Right in front of us.
Yeah. Is that unique to Ghana?
I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if other cultures consider turkey tails undesirable.
You're like, what's their cultural significance or lack thereof?
Exactly.
So this deep dive is really opening my eyes to new food perspectives.
It is fascinating.
So I want to go back to Chi-Chi, the local guy.
Oh, she was so fun.
Her passion for showcasing Ghanaian food to the world was really inspiring.
She was great. I loved her point about Ghanaian food deserving more international recognition.
I agree. Yeah. Like, why do some cuisines become global phenomena while others remain hidden gems?
Right.
I think she's onto something with her suggestion that jollof rice could be their flagship dish.
Yeah.
It has deep cultural roots and even sparked some friendly competition between Ghana, Sierra Leone, and Nigeria.
Remember she mentioned that rivalry over who makes the best jollof?
Yeah, like a culinary version of a sports rivalry.
Exactly.
Maybe we need to organize a jollof rice showdown for our next deep dive.
That's a great idea.
Okay, before we get sidetracked by jollof rice, let's talk about one of the most visually striking dishes. Tuaza sifi, or TZ. The way the host dug into that slimy hands-on meal was captivating, but a little intimidating.
It definitely challenges Western table manners.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of exploring different cultures.
It is.
It pushes you out of your comfort zone and encourages you to embrace new ways of experiencing food.
For sure.
Honestly, the word slimy isn't always appetizing,
No, not really.
but in the context of TZ, it worked.
I know.
The Ayo sauce, with its vibrant green color and unique texture, seemed key to the whole experience.
It's all about context, you know? Like, if someone told you to eat something slimy and green, you'd probably be hesitant.
Probably.
But seeing the host dive in and describe the flavors, it becomes intriguing.
It's like a culinary trust fall.
Yes,
We're relying on the host's descriptions to guide us through this unfamiliar territory.
exactly.
And he enjoyed it despite the unconventional appearance.
Which proves the power of food.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to try new things, even if they seem strange.
You never know what you might discover.
Right. And we can't forget the towel.
The cow stomach.
Yeah. It shows that in many cultures, nothing goes to waste.
Exactly. Every part of the animal is respected and utilized.
A valuable lesson in sustainability.
Especially nowadays with so much food waste.
So true.
Mm.
Oh, okay, time for a confession. When they showed the chom, that Ghanaian egg sandwich, I wasn't that excited.
Really?
Yeah, I thought, an egg sandwich.
Please.
Seriously. But then they described the pounded bread, the filling with fresh vegetables and chilies.
Right.
And suddenly I was intrigued.
The simplest dishes can be elevated through unique techniques and bold flavors.
Exactly. Like a classic comfort food with a Ghanaian twist.
I like that.
It makes me want to add some Ghanaian flair to my own cooking.
You should.
Speaking of inspiration, let's talk about that nighttime street food scene.
Oh, yeah.
Accra seems to come alive after dark.
The city transforms into this giant open-air food market.
Makes sense.
It does.
People are looking for a quick, satisfying meal.
It's not just about filling your stomach, though.
It's not.
It's about connecting with the community.
Yeah, and experiencing the city.
And savoring the unique flavors.
So let's talk about the tomato, the roasted pork.
Oh, yes.
It's interesting that pork isn't as common in Ghana because of the Muslim population.
It shows how religious beliefs can influence culinary traditions.
Exactly, food is so intertwined with our identity.
It really is.
I love that they use a whole pig head as a selling point.
So bold.
It's like you know exactly what you're getting.
No question.
And it's funny because that description of the tomato as greasy, crispy, heavy, and spiced with something like garam masala makes it sound so tempting,
it does sound good.
even if it's not the healthiest option.
Sometimes you have to indulge.
For sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of pride in one's craft, let's talk about the final dish, shinkafa, at the Anointed Lady restaurant.
Ah, yes. The restaurant for all of life's occasions.
It shows how central food is to Ghanaian culture.
Bringing people together during good times and bad.
And it's amazing how that one dish, shinkafa, embodies that sense of unity.
It's a hearty, flavorful meal for everyone.
And they described it as a food mountain on a leaf platter.
It sounds incredible.
It does. And once again, we see the spaghetti.
I know.
It truly is a global culinary chameleon,
Adapting to every cuisine.
adding a familiar texture and a touch of whimsy.
Even in the most diverse cuisines, there are elements of familiarity that connect us.
So true. Okay, as we wrap up this Ghanaian street food adventure, what do you think about Chi-Chi's plea for greater recognition? Does Ghanaian food have the potential to be the next big culinary trend?
I think it does. It has bold flavors, unique techniques, fresh ingredients, and a deep connection to culture.
Yeah, it just needs more exposure.
Exactly.
And with passionate people like Chi-Chi, I'm confident that it will captivate taste buds around the world.
I hope so.
It's exciting to think about.
It is. There's always something new to discover if we're open to it.
So as we sign off, any final thoughts or cravings?
I am craving some TZ. That slimy green sauce and the towel have left a lasting impression. But more importantly, I'm inspired to keep exploring food with an open mind and a curious palate.
I'm with you. This deep dive into Ghanaian street food has been an eye-opener, and I can't wait to see what other culinary adventures await us. You know, it's amazing how much we learned about Ghana just through their food.
It's true. Food is like a window into a culture.
It really is.
It tells us about history, geography, even economics.
Right.
Think about how available certain ingredients are.
Yeah.
In Ghana, they love their carbs.
Yeah.
Probably because they're cheap and easy to get compared to meat.
It's like food choices aren't always about what you like, but what you can afford.
Exactly.
It's fascinating how all these things come together to create a cuisine.
It is.
Geography, economics, culture.
And it makes those street food vendors even more impressive.
I know, right?
Taking basic ingredients and making them delicious and satisfying.
Like, remember that chom vendor using a paper towel dispenser
Oh, yeah.
to pound the bread?
That's pure resourcefulness.
It really stuck with me.
I know what you mean.
You don't need fancy tools or ingredients to make something amazing.
It's true.
Just creativity.
Sometimes the simplest approach is the best.
So true. So Chi-Chi talked about wanting Ghanaian food to have a signature dish,
Right, like a flagship.
like pizza for Italy or tacos for Mexico.
Yeah.
Do you think a cuisine needs that to be recognized globally?
That's a good question.
On the one hand, it helps with marketing.
Right, it creates a simple image.
Yeah. But on the other hand, Ghanaian cuisine has so much variety.
With 16 regions and all those different influences?
Exactly. So how do you pick just one dish to represent all of that?
Maybe you can't.
Maybe it's better to celebrate all that variety.
Yeah,
Let the world discover all the different dishes and flavors,
I like that.
each one telling a different story about Ghana.
It's a beautiful tapestry.
Well, this has been a real feast for the senses.
It has.
We've seen how food can teach us about culture, history, geography,
And human ingenuity.
and how simple dishes can be amazing with the right techniques and flavors.
Right, like that chum.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we've been reminded that there's always something new to discover.
If we're open to it.
So I'll leave you with this. We saw how Ghanaians use spaghetti in a lot of their dishes.
We do.
What other unexpected ingredients have you seen in different cuisines?
Ooh, that's a good one.
What does that tell us about how food travels and changes?
So much to think about.
Keep exploring, stay curious, and most importantly, happy eating.